Spot Real Talk. My name is Tiara.
I'm Tiffany.
And I'm Ron.
And today we are back to talk about Your Honor, titled Part 18. This is Season 2, Episode 8. So, a lot of good stuff to talk about. But before we get into the discussion, please make sure you click that subscribe button, the notification bell. Sorry, I'm getting tongue-tied because I'm so ready to talk about this. And also like the video. Now we can go ahead and dive in. I am so excited to talk about this episode because I feel like this episode is setting us up for so much that's about to go down. So the episode kind of opened with this scene with Big Mo and Gina almost hits Big Mo with her car, and they have this little stare down. And this is right on the brink of Big Mo getting ready to open her club up and have the grand opening. And Gina and her kind of looking at each other, and her Mo's crew is like, oh, she all barking, no bite. And Mo's like, nah, she got some bite. And we seen that a little later on in the episode. Once Gina went over there and made it a point to go over there and talk to Mo on the opening night. And I was like, this woman has the gigantic kahunas, I'll say that.
She does.
And Carlo had stepped up security and everything in preparation for the evening. Jimmy had told him to put extra security outside and not to initiate anything if they don't start with you. Basically, don't start nothing, won't be nothing.
Right.
But Gina had a plan of her own. That woman is really off the chain.
And well, I got to give Big Mo some credit, because when a Trojan comes in bearing gifts and you take that gift, I wouldn't have drank it.
Right, I know. She was bold for doing that, because I'm like, this woman could have poisoned you or anything.
Uh-huh.
I would have poured it out right on the floor on her feet and said, yeah,
Well, she did pour it out.
She said it was something for the homies.
Well, she poured something for the homies. I'd have had the homies could have the whole bottle.
She was making the statement though by doing it, because it's expensive.
Yeah. She said, what, 500 a shot?
Yeah. So she was doing that to make. No,
I'm just saying I would not have drank any.
No. But I think they were saying that too was a statement, because I think she was just saying, like, we ain't afraid to die, like we ain't scared of you. So that was a statement, because when she nosed her up too, when she got right in her face, she let her know, like, chick, I ain't scared of you.
Exactly.
I know who you are, but you gonna know who I am.
I ain't scared of you either, but I ain't getting that close to a cobra.
Yeah.
So I think with Gina, when she talked to the other woman from the
support group,
that Donetta or whatever.
Donetta.
Yeah, she put the battery in her back.
Yes, she did.
Because when she made that comment about, like, well, if the heroin dealer and that killed your son lived across the street, or moved across the street, what would you do? He said, I would burn it down. So that gave her some fire. And also she put the battery in her back about the stuff with Jimmy too, but I know we'll talk about that separately. But I think that's what gave her the courage to go over there and start stuff. And I think she's planning, that's like she's trying to set it off. That's what she's trying to do.
Yeah, she is. It was just odd to me that she can feel that she's losing her family. She talked to the woman about how her kids have pushed away from her and stuff. But, after she left the club, she told Carla, I know you're trying to get your father's approval, but remember, you came out of me. And I was like,
that's steep.
Okay. I was like, I don't know if I would take that too well if I was Carlo, because it's like, you can't please her. There's no pleasing.
You can't. She's ridiculous. Because first off, I understand grief. I definitely understand grief. And I feel for her as a mother. She lost her child. But she's unreasonable for her to blame Jimmy just because he bought him a motorcycle and stuff, and say that it's his fault their son is dead.
That was foul.
But unfortunately, in real life, that's exactly what happens. We tend to blame the person, who is near and dearest to us. And a lot of times it has nothing to do with that, except that Gina is just, she's unhinged. And even beyond the fact that she's grieving, she's just crazy. She's a crazy woman.
And it was I
Well,
felt bad for Jimmy. I'm sorry, because
I did
he
too.
was really
I did
trying to
too.
reconnect with her.
well, I feel
And
bad for Carlo in the sense that he's trying to, live up to his father, and most boys want to do that. But then he got this mammy that wants to, make him out a little punk. And I was hoping that he would kind of, raise his chest when she crossed the street to go into Big Mo's place. I would have grabbed her by the arm and said, "Did you hear what Dad said? Here you are. What's wrong with you, woman? Regardless of whether you're my mother or not, you are about you." She could have started a war just from that one movement.
Yeah.
I think that was the the main thing. I think that's what she's trying to do. I think her going over there and doing that was a declaration of war.
But
Yes.
She said, because especially the way she said to Big Mo, she was just like, "Enjoy your night."
Yeah.
Like, like let her know, like, yeah, you gonna go ahead and enjoy this night because it ain't gonna be too many more of them.
And see the problem, and that's the problem with warring fashions, because you're already grieving over one loss. That war could have you lose Fia and the baby, and would all culminate because of you. So,
well, she feels like she's already lost them. So I think she's at a point where she's like, what else do I have to lose?
Well, death and loss is a whole different type of loss. So, but somebody needed to straighten her up. I'm hoping that it is Jimmy. I wish.
Look, when she told Jimmy, "I'll never love you again," and the look on his face, I was like, I know
he looked broken.
Yeah, he did look broken. Yeah, he did.
And so I was like, when you are in that type of position where your family has fallen apart and where you can't salvage your marriage, I know Gina, like she said, she's trying to burn down everything around her. And I think she's going to have success with Mo, but I think she might also be thinking about Jimmy too, because he always tries to intervene in her plans and vice versa. But I think she's plotting on him. And Tiffany, I think you said before with her and Carmine, they might try to make a move on Jimmy because they don't respect him and they don't think he's a man enough for them.
Right. I do think
but I think it'll backfire though, because Jimmy is savvy. Jimmy knows how to think 10 steps ahead.
I just felt, that love, when he grabbed her hands and said, "Hey, we can get over this." He's read where, families can get over the death of a loved one and so forth and so on. And she just had nothing for him.
I think he said all of that, but I think he also knows his wife well enough to know she might try to do something crazy.
This is what made me think that he might flip the script on her. Now, I think is what you said, T, that she and Carmine might scheme to get him out of. She said she doesn't love him anymore. But when he said to Carlo about, like, why I don't wear a tie, he said, because you can't. No one can tell you what to do. Nobody tells you how to run your life when you wear the tie. When he said that, I was like, that's a statement. That means Carmine, Gina, whoever, you're not going to tell me how to run my life. When he said that, I was like, to me, that was foreshadowing.
He put his foot down.
Well,
he put his foot down. And I really believe that she might try to attempt stuff. And I think that he was going to flip the script on her.
I think so.
In essence, there's no one above you when you don't wear a tie. You're the itch. And so
exactly,
so yeah, I can see that. I love to see how it plays out though.
I want to see who Carlo is going to side with.
He's putting them on the table.
Who do you think Carlo will side with though? That's a very good question. And
I think he loves his mom and he wants approval from both of them. But I think his approval might matter from Jimmy more. Because he sees now that his mom is unhinged. He can't control her.
That's it right there. I think
he's going to side with Carlo.
I think he is too.
I'm sorry. I think Carlo's going to side with Jimmy. That's what
I think so too. Also because not only is his dad, trying to teach him, the business and stuff, he's trying to teach him, give him legacy. Like, when he took him to that waterfront and he talked about his vision for their family and everything like that. Like, that his vision from the family is not just talking about like the crime syndicate and stuff like that, and violence and drugs and all that other stuff. He's talking about like prosperity
Yes.
and growth and stuff. And I think Carlo wants to be more than just a thug.
Yes.
Or enforcer.
And if Gina has it her way, that's all he gonna be.
That's all he gonna be, is an enforcer.
I agree. No, I agree. That's why I asked the question, because you know, if I were Carlo, I would have to choose my dad, because your mother's unhinged and she's going to get you killed before anything else. You know, that situation in the street would have told me a lot about my mother.
Yeah, yeah. And you know, before we move on from that Big Mo situation, she also had, like we said, turmoil within the circle.
And the rain.
And so Chris is actually, you know, going against her now. And he actually hits up her other club while she's having her grand opening, takes her ring that she was going to use to propose, you know, puts the balloon in its place. I was like, that was a declaration of war right there too.
Sure was.
Or you saying, I really just don't feel like living much longer, because that's going to catch up with brother Chris. That, you know,
I mean, by putting the balloon there, he made it known.
Very much. Oh yeah, right. You left your calling card. That was your calling card.
Yeah, because she did say Chris, so she definitely knows it was him.
But with Janelle kind of following her afterwards and her yelling at Janelle, you know, she looked taken aback by that. She's like,
they ain't getting married no way. Because Janelle is seeing another side of, like, Janelle loves the other side of Big Mo and stuff. She loves the sweet and tender side. She does not love this gangster side. And
right.
And I don't think she's gonna be willing to give her forever, as she stated.
Yeah, exactly. Janelle wants her to be a legitimate business person. You know, you got the club, run the business, and get out of this stuff. And when when she snuck up into the other club or whatever it was, and they drew guns on her, Janelle, if that didn't tell you something,
right. So I don't know. I just think that's gonna be very short-lived.
It is, and I hope she doesn't get hurt in the process.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Because if there's a war,
and
there's usually innocent bystanders.
And I don't know if Big Mo can take too much more. I mean, she's got a lot to handle. You know, handling Gina is enough, but when you have a war within your own, you know, group, and you kicked out Little Mo, and I think we saw in some of the previews, you know, what's up with that. So you got a lot to deal with. You got a lot to deal with.
She may not make it out either.
Yeah.
And there was another thing that I forgot to mention about the Gina situation. The Gina, you know, of course, the Baxters and the Desire family are at war and stuff. But there's another aspect that's at play, the racial lines, because in New Orleans, you know, if you go there, that definitely, you know, the racism is definitely high.
I've been there.
Yeah, me too. There in that city, and you know, especially the what's the word I'm looking for? The what's it called line? The poverty line. They have a high poverty rate there and stuff and everything. And so when she was talking about, you know, making sure security was going to be there for the type of people that were going to be there, and I was like, okay. I was like, those are the dog whistles. And everything. I know they're a gang and I know what they do, but you know, when she was saying that, you know, it was like I'm hearing the dog whistles.
Oh yeah, for sure. And you know, talking about that situation with Eugene, because it kind of just, I feel so horrible that he got arrested, and I was, you know, thinking that maybe Lee could try to do more for him, and she really was trying to tiptoe the line, because she said she didn't want to push the wrong people, and I understand that. So she tried to negotiate with Jarek, who is in the DA's office, and you know, he's telling her Eugene is going to serve a minimum of 30 years. You know, he's going to probably be in there for life, and she tries to work it out to where he can get less. But Jarek is like, I want information on Desire. But Eugene is not willing to give that information up, because that puts him in a worse situation in jail, which I don't blame Eugene at all for saying that.
Definitely.
He said, I go to trial. I'm not going to risk it.
Well, I mean, I'll go, if I got to do the 30, I have to do 30. But because if you rat on Big Mo, you won't
You
do,
can go
you
out a
won't
lot
do a
sooner.
year. Okay. So, but here's the thing that bothered me about both Lee and Eugene. First, Eugene, you did the crime. Okay. There's no mistaking. You did the crime.
Yeah.
She got you 10 where you can do possibly 3. And you want to go to court? Going to court.
He want to take his chances. He wants to tell
There is
his
no
side of his
chance.
story.
Whether you tell your story or not, the story is legally you did the crime. And
but he also is a minor. He's a
minor or not.
No, I get the rationale because I think I would roll the dice. Because first of all, his whole family was killed. His whole family was killed. His older brother was murdered. He was trying to avenge his brother.
Tiffany,
and so
the law doesn't care about that.
But okay, so we're
The
gonna
law
go back
doesn't
to
care
Ghost
about
and Power. That's the same argument that Ghost said that if who would not understand that Tariq murdered the murderer of his twin sister. He said, once I became lieutenant governor, he can probably do a little bit of time or go as a juvenile. That's the same case that Ghost was making. That's the dice that Eugene is trying to say. Let me get a chance to get on the stand and tell my side of the story. He said they see me as some thug that shot up the hotel. I'm a kid whose whole family was murdered, and I sought revenge. One of those jurors might say,
Tiffany, a lot of times when you're poor, and particularly living in New Orleans, you're not going to get a jury of your peers. You're going to get a predominantly, if not all white jury that's going to look at you like a criminal, no matter what story you tell. No matter what you do.
Yeah.
And the fact that you did the crime, this is my point. You did the crime. So let's just say they shave off. Let's say they shave off. That's another story. But let's look, I like to get I like to get involved with you in the big thing. I'm trying not to, but because you didn't push my button now with Tariq. But with Eugene, you did the crime. So let's say, you go to court and they shave off 5 years. I doubt that. And my point being is you're certainly not going to get off free because you have a story to tell. The story is
he's not saying that.
But my point being, you can't do better than 3 years. If you do 10, you're only going to do a third of the time. So you can't do better than 3 years, no matter what story you tell.
With the information that Lee has, the threat that she made to the DA.
Remember, the DA said with your information.
Juvenile. Yeah, with the information she has,
you know
because
what?
Michael did.
But check this out. In some instances, if they keep him in, well, you don't want to be in solitude or confined.
No, he can go to juvenile.
But juvenile can be just as bad, if not worse, in some situations.
Yeah, at least it won't be prison.
Yeah, it would be prison.
But it won't be 30 years.
He won't be.
Right now, Ron, you keep saying 3 years. Was it 3? Because I
no. They said if you do 10,
but he's talking about the third. Like a lot of times,
you do a third of the crime. If you do a third of the
time, so that's when you get 3 years.
And my point is, you can't do better than that. Killing somebody, you kill somebody. You didn't accidentally shoot them.
But he also was a minor, and there were other.
Tiffany, how many black boys you know this for a fact? How many young black boys are treated as adults? It doesn't happen to white kids.
Oh, I know that. I do know that.
So here my point is, you're in New Orleans, and chances are, because of the severity of the crime, it's murder 1, and you're going to be treated as an adult. Well, so scratch out.
They're dropping it to negligent homicide.
Negligent homicide.
So it's not the same.
But negligent homicide in that first degree is going to give him 30 years.
He said he already dropped it down. If he does the leverage, he's dropping it down to negligent homicide will be 10.
Well, then if he does the 10, you're going to get a better deal than that. 10, you got 10, you do 3, and you're going to get a better deal than that going to court.
Well, I'm betting on Lee's the fact that the government is going to want to cover up what she knows. The fact remains that Judge Michael Desiato threw that case and got Carlo out. Carlo is on the street working, doing security for his family, and he killed Kofi in jail, and he walked. So the thing is,
you cannot retry him.
No,
that's not it.
That's not what I'm saying. The argument she made to that DA is, I know these things. And he said, let me go back and talk to my team and come back to
because
they're not going to want those things out. So they're going to work out a deal.
Well,
not only do they not want those things out, it's going to make them have the possibility to open up all of Michael's other cases.
Exactly.
So the best deal that they can get out of that, if there's a deal to be had, I want him out, or in some psychiatric, or in some psychiatric treatment for because he's young. Well, look, he can beat juvie in that sense, in the sense you're saying he could beat juvie because of the fact that what you said, he lost his family, and so he was temporarily insane. He lost his mind. So if you're going to argue that, but see, Lee is not a criminal defense attorney. So my whole point is
I'm just saying, like we said this before, it's a game of leverage. Okay?
It's a game of leverage. She has leverage right now. And she was involved with Michael during that time. She was his book. Like, listen, she got the goods. And
does she have proof beyond hearsay?
No.
There
are people that can corroborate her story.
It's still beyond hearsay.
Yeah, Nancy can corroborate. Like you don't know who her context is. She's an attorney.
I'm trying to tell you, if you don't have proof beyond hearsay, it ain't going.
But we don't know who she has.
Look,
I don't.
Okay,
we don't know who she has yet.
That's my point. We don't know.
I
agree.
I'm worried.
But he agreed to take it back to his team, so he believes she has something.
Well, it's juicy. It's juicy nonetheless. And to give him and for him to only do 3 years on a first degree, well, what typically should be a first degree murder charge, ain't bad.
Right. But
and look at this. On good behavior, you may do 2.5. You don't have to do the 3.
That's best case scenario.
Exactly.
But this situation with Lee has me worried because we've seen, especially in that situation with Robin, when people start threatening to expose law enforcement, they come up missing.
Yeah, they do.
So,
that's another thing.
Tread carefully.
Well,
that makes me nervous too. Yeah.
Well, you know what? That's probably the smartest thing we've said all night about this whole situation.
Well,
because here you are threatening the government. You can come up missing.
And Olivia might pay her a visit.
Listen,
Olivia and Nancy say, listen, we got this case going and we need you to shut your mouth. And that might bring, Michael to her to say, like, listen, this is dangerous. You cannot do this or whatever. So
right. Because we know that Olivia is hot on trying to get somebody that can help her take down the Baxters. And she's actually approached Fia now. And so she's really trying to flip her. She's doing all she can, popping up unannounced and doing all of these private interviews where Michael has to go in and, it was interesting that they chose to pretend like they didn't know each other when
that was best.
He was in the house. Yeah, it was best. It was. So Michael pretends to be Fia's lawyer, and he actually advises her, in front of Olivia and in private, keep to yourself, stay out of this. It's best if you just try to go on about your life. Michael went as far as getting the money from Adam's 529 plan and passing that on to Fia so that she could do as she wishes. He told her, get as far away from this city as possible, which was excellent advice.
Exactly. And that's what makes me think that he's checking out. Because I'm like, he's getting everything in order. I was like, he went to the bank and the college 529 and stuff. He gave it to her. He's telling her to look back. And then at the end, he's pretty much sacrificing himself. He was like, stay away. He tells Olivia, stay away from Fia and the baby. I'll do it. So I was like, this ain't ending happily for Michael. I don't think he's gonna make it. And I also think that Olivia was the one, clearly she was the one that initiated the ruse that, we don't know each other. Because he was getting ready to blow up. He's like, what are you doing here? And then she stuck her hand out like, nice to meet you. chill.
Well, he's right back where he started. He's working with Olivia now. So, you know, Olivia, hey, great chess move. It was a good move to contact Fia and talk to her, knowing that I'm sure she didn't know that that would have the effect, Mike, that would have such an effect on Michael. But and maybe she did know, but it got her right where she wanted, which is right back to Michael doing her bidding. So
it was foul though, because I didn't even realize that Fia was that young. I knew that she and Adam were young, but she is 17.
17.
And so the fact that she was even talking to Fia without an adult present, she was violating. It reminded me of Angela Valdez again, you know, these AUSAs talking to minors without, you know, any type of
counsel present.
Yeah, guardian counsel.
Yeah.
Anything. Yeah. So I'm thinking that all of this is shaping up to be a crazy rest of the season. I was like this thing with Lee. I was like, you know, if Olivia has her way and she has Michael working for her, then Lee is, like you said, a real threat to her situation with getting the Baxters. So that's why I'm like, Lee might be checking out of here. Like you said, Michael looks like he's, you know, sacrificing himself for the sake of Fia and his grandson. So he could end up being out of here. There's this whole feud with Jimmy and Gina. One of them could take the other out. And then, of course, there's the war with Mo and Desire. So it's like, at this point, any and everybody could get it, you know?
Well, Lee feels as though she owes Eugene something. And because what she's done is really put herself in harm's way. Because, you know, there are moles and rats and snitches and all kinds of things in the police department. You don't know who you're talking to, and you don't know how that information comes back at you, you know, because there are all kinds of folk that have ears, and next thing you know, the Baxters know about Lee, and this whole thing doesn't have to be the police that takes her out. It could be the Baxters, because they find out what the kind of information she has and what she's willing to do. So she's really put herself in a situation over Eugene.
And she said it. She said, I failed Kofi. She feels like she failed his brother. So she's, you know, putting herself on the line for him. And I think it goes back to what she said when he was admitted to the hospital, when she told that nurse, like, please don't call in. She was like, please give this kid a chance. Because going back to what I said about New Orleans and the poverty rate and, you know, the racial lines and everything there, you know, give this young Black kid a chance.
Yeah, and Lee is also at the point where she's like, if this is what being a lawyer means, I don't even want it no more. You know, she's willing to really give up her whole career and sacrifice to get Eugene another chance. So, you know, I appreciate that kind of valor and integrity. But she, like I said, putting herself right in the line of fire.
Oh, she's got both barrels looking at her. So, you know, if anybody goes between now and episode 10, it might be Lee.
Yeah, it's probably gonna be a few people. It might be her. It's you know, I don't see Big Mo coming out of it. I would be surprised if she made it.
I think if there's any hope for season, what is it, season 3? If there's any hope for
I don't think there's another season after this. That's why I said I think that Michael is dying. I think they said this is it.
Yeah, so I give Michael, you know, my game ball for stepping in and represent Fia, trying to do the right thing. I also give Lee the game ball for the same reason, trying to give Eugene a second chance. Now the who can get the hands list is long. We know Gina can get the hands. That's a given. I think who else? I definitely think Mo, she can I think she can get the hands, because she really expects a lot from her crew. She's asking them to forgive a lot of her, you know, indiscretions, a lot of stuff that she's done wrong. She just wants them to get over it, but she has no mercy for them on the other side of that coin.
I'm going to give Janelle the hands, and here's why. Janelle, you can't play it both ways. If you want legit, then go out and find legit. you know, I don't have a problem with you being with Mo, but you know who Mo is. And
she's trying to see the best in her.
Well, see it, but it ain't in it. So you can look all you want, but that's not it. And so, you know, you're really leading Mo on.
I think she does bring out the best in Mo, though.
What I'm saying is, though, look, if you want Mo to be a certain type of person that she's not, now you already know this. You know that she's not the woman that you want her to be. Then get out. But you know, what you really like is the atmosphere.
Maybe she doesn't know as much as we think.
No, she likes the atmosphere. She likes the fact that she's got the club, and now, you know, it's atmospheric for her. She's in a position that she can do what she wants to do in terms of her career, and this is what she really is harping on as far as I'm concerned. Now, because I you know what, I really don't see much love coming from Janelle that much anyways.
Well, I think it's over for them. I think she might be done.
Well, yeah, and you know, and maybe it should be, and I hope that you know, Big Mo allows her to walk away. But
right.
You know,
you might get caught in the crossfire. That's what I'm afraid of. You know,
collateral damage.
You know what I thought about when I saw her singing and stuff and everything, and then knowing that this war is brewing, I thought about the movie Idlewild. and remember, you know, Paula Patton's character got killed. She got caught in the crossfire. So I thought about that.
Well, could happen. Yeah. I guess to close out the Who Can Get the Hands list, I'm also throwing Olivia on there for speaking with the minor without an adult, without counsel. She's off and just popping up at Michael's house whenever she wants. Like, what are you doing? That ain't even Michael's house for real. That's mother-in-law's house.
Right.
So you even more, you know, out of bounds for doing it at somebody else's house. So
she's permanent. She's permanent on the hand list. There's nothing she can do to get off of it. She's just permanent.
Yeah, so this was a great episode. Like I said, it's setting us up for so much. These last two episodes, it's only two left. Wow, that fast. Last two episodes are going to be so crazy. I'm looking forward to it. I don't even want to try to necessarily make too many predictions because at this rate, I feel like anything can happen.
Anything could happen.
No, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, so I cannot wait for next week. I know you guys are looking forward to it just as much as me. And I think that I really enjoyed this episode. It really is just setting the tone for the rest of the season. So I just want to thank everyone out there for watching. Please drop down in the comment box and let us know your thoughts on this episode. Please also let us know your predictions for the remainder of the season. How do you think things are going to end? Who's going to make it out alive? Who's not? Also, make sure you follow us on social media. We are at The Spot Real Talk on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok. We're everywhere. We also have a lot of great content and interviews with people from various other shows that we recap. So check out our playlist of interviews. So much good stuff in there. You guys have anything else you want to add before we close out?
Except that I'm gonna get Tiffany back on that power thing. I can't wait till power gets back. We're gonna have a talk.
Well, what about you, Tiff?
I have nothing to say.
Okay. Well, on that note, we are gonna call it a night. Make sure you're back here next week for our recap of Your Honor, episode 9. Good night.
Good night, everybody. Bye-bye.
I bet when I land, they gon' tell me it's luck again. See that I'm winning, it's harder to watch. I'm setting the stage, you should give me my props. You ain't got no soul, you lacking the spirit. You talk out your neck, I'ma show you I'm with it. I would really hate for you to sit and watch me win again and win again and win again. I know it's probably getting on me and win a synonym. So if I ever win again, it's nobody did the minimum. I didn't have to sell my soul. Oh.